Some of you may not know, but I am actually a massive Assassin's Creed fan. I've been following this franchise and been a part of it since the early days as Altair with that beautiful blue filter all the way up now until Assassin's Creed Mirage. And let me tell you, this game is getting way more hate than it needs to. So I want to start off by saying, no, this game is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It has its flaws, but longtime fans of the franchise have been extremely upset that this game doesn't personify Assassin's Creed. This is just mind-boggling to me that longtime fans of the franchise are saying that this doesn't personify Assassin's Creed. What? If I had to guess, these are probably people who came in when they made the big switch from the usual kind of more linear storytelling arc style of Assassin's Creed to when it changed to an RPG hack and slash kind of game, which was in just complete contrast to the Assassin's Creed that we kind of knew and loved. Mirage is kind of a callback to that more linear story. Obviously, it's an open world map. You can do whatever you want, but this feels very much like an old Assassin's Creed game. I think people have just gotten too used to the kind of hack and slash run around RPG style that now Ubisoft has kind of become known for with Assassin's Creed. I mean, look at Valhalla. You ran around with two f***ing hammers braining people for 1,000 hours in Valhalla. I mean, it was a big departure from the stuff that we're used to. I'm not going to talk about Origins, so don't get me started on Origins.
And soon, praise Anubis, watch me do this. Boy never know that he could do this.
Now, some of the complaints that I have are actually in line with complaints that other folks have had about the game. Namely, the big #1 thing is the combat. The open combat is absolutely atrocious. But you know what? Whether it was intentional or not, I think it's perfect because it really makes the game not fun if you're in open combat all the time, which is great. They're forcing you to be an assassin. That's the point. You're supposed to hide in the shadows, get stealth kills, all those different things, instead of just running around with swords, hacking and slashing and killing everybody in sight. So yeah, I don't really want to spend the whole game clicking LB to parry and then pressing RB to kill. I mean, it's just not fun. You can get a lot more creative. It's a lot more challenging if you actually play this as a stealth-only game, which is something that Assassin's Creed used to be. And for the life of me, I just can't get over the neckbeards that are like, "You're forcing me to play as an assassin?" Did you look at the title of the game when you bought it? Now, admittedly, this is a smaller project. This isn't one of the full-scale launches that Ubisoft considers. It is one of the main games, the 12th installation of it, actually. And we do see some things that tie into the greater Assassin's Creed universe, if you will. The main protagonist of the story, spoilers ahead, by the way, is Basim, which is actually, believe it or not, somebody that we did see in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We learn a lot about him, that he's actually a reincarnation of Loki himself.
I did, yes. He rescued my son from Jotunheim, so I agreed to bring him here and help him find work. That's all.
Yeah, that Loki. And this game sort of touches on that, not as much as you might think, but really this is the story of Basim and him being confused about who he is and why he feels different because there's something inside him that he hasn't quite figured out. Now, granted, the story doesn't really do a good job of explaining any of this. You could play through the whole thing never knowing about Valhalla and not know anything new about Basim other than he was just conflicted. Me being the kind of connected universe freak that I am, I just feel like I really wanted to see more of that in the game. I don't think it's game breaking by any stretch of the imagination. It just would have been a nice touch to tie it in a little bit more. Now, last but not least, my only real gripe with the game is something very small but very important when it comes to Assassin's Creed, is that the free running felt a little bit chunky and some of the assassination animations felt a little bit chunky. We were absolutely spoiled when we got Assassin's Creed Unity, which is now like 9 years old or something like that, with an absolutely incredible, fluid, just constant motion thing that was Assassin's Creed Unity. It was so flowy, it felt so natural, it was so limitless. And then now coming back into Mirage, it felt a little bit chunkier, it felt a little slower, it didn't quite feel as responsive or as cool as, say, Unity did. So those are really my only gripes with the game, just 3 of them. I think if this had gotten maybe a little bit more love, maybe a little bit more funding, maybe some of that stuff could have gotten smoothed out, because we know Ubisoft is capable of making a game that feels that way. But as I stated again, this was kind of a side project. I think what this really was for the developers was a passion project to kind of bring back the old feeling of Assassin's Creed for all of the fans of the franchise who were saying, we have to go back.
You've got to come back with me. Where?
And I love that, because I feel like in a lot of ways they really did nail kind of the vibe, that feeling that we had the first time that we played Assassin's Creed. Obviously, you know, the old Middle East is the perfect setting for Assassin's Creed. A lot of the stuff that we see are great callbacks to playing with Altair. They even put in a filter on the menu so you can change it to that original kind of color scheme, and even an Altair costume. So I really think this was more than anything just a labor of love, a passion project to bring to the fans to say, hey, look, you know what? We're still listening to you. And I'm massively thankful for at least that gesture, if you will. We're still listening. We're still listening to you old Assassin's Creed fans who still love the original games. We're still listening. We made this for you. And we've got a lot more content on the way. Just next year, we're going to get Codename Red, which is another game that's set in feudal Japan, which is something that fans have been absolutely screaming for, because, to be honest, this game really does suit a ninja storyline quite well. And then after that, we've got Project Hex, which is supposed to take part in basically the dark times in England, which I think is going to be incredibly gripping. This is going to be a really, really cool story to live through. So I'm just massively excited for what Ubisoft has to bring with this amazing franchise. A lot of people are saying it's time to retire the name. We don't need any more Assassin's Creed. I say, f you, good sir. Give me all you got. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, subscribe, share it out to your friends. I hate doing that. And I'll see you guys on the next one.